All right, let's talk to our next guest who also knows what's going on. We've got him on the line now. Knox Williams, he's the president of the American Suppressor Association, and he's going to talk to us about, I mean, they're just never going to learn. The Dems are never going to learn. Knox, welcome to the show. Thanks for coming by tonight.
Stacy, thanks so much for having me. It's a pleasure.
Yeah, well, I want to let everybody know what's going on. So last Thursday, Adam Schiff, we all know Adam, he's a representative from my area here in California, and Democrats reintroduced Knox. They reintroduced the Assault Weapons Ban Act of 2025. Now, it made sense for them to introduce an assault weapons ban when they were in total power, but now it's the American era. That's the theme of this show today. It's the American era. Now everything has changed. Why on earth would they reintroduce this? It makes no sense to me.
Yeah, I mean, I just don't think that they'll ever learn, right? Like it's a common scare tactic. It's an obvious messaging bill, and one that's rooted in a deep-seated history of trying to stoke fear that just quite frankly shouldn't exist. Are you familiar with the anti-gun movement's shift away from the demonization of handguns to rifles?
No, actually, I haven't noticed that. But now that you say that, I guess we aren't talking that much about handguns anymore.
Yeah, so I mean, that was very intentional on their part, and you got to give credit where credit's due. There was a guy named Josh Sugarman who runs a group called the Violence Policy Center, and in the late 80s, he recognized that their fight to try and ban handguns was probably just a non-starter politically. So he had a pretty novel idea to say, hey, we need to rebrand rifles, specifically a term that he helped coin, assault rifles, to demonize a pretty common gun and make it more politically volatile. And to his credit, I mean, he did a fantastic job of dividing the country on that. And it's this, decades old kind of lie that they've been peddling and misinformation. And it's just kind of infuriating as a gun owner.
Yeah, even vice presidential candidate Tim Walz, when he was on the trail, there were a few times. Now they picked him as like the Midwest man's. I feel ridiculous even saying it out loud, but this is they picked him as the Midwest man's man. He likes to shoot guns. He has a truck. He owns camouflage pants. And he said several times on the campaign trail, he supports, his words, assault rifle bans, assault rifles. And I'm thinking to myself, this is the expert. This is the regular American guy that they're selling us. He doesn't even know what to call a rifle. He doesn't even know what a gun is. But you're right. The propaganda has been so effective that even politicians in the highest ranks feel comfortable using it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and look, like, if I put on a cowboy hat, that doesn't make me a cowboy. If I walk out into a field with a shotgun, that doesn't make me a shotgun shooter, right? Like, it's something that, they thought that they'd be able to hoodwink the American people. And I think that this past election cycle sent a very clear message that, hey, you're going to have to do better than that.
Okay, well, let's talk about that. Because we did just have this election cycle, and it was a huge mandate. That is irrefutable, no matter what the media tries to tell you. That's just them. That's just their little corner. The rest of America knows what's up, and we voted that way in November. And so the Democrats have nothing. They have lost everything. Knox, they lost the White House. They lost Congress. They've lost everything. Why on earth would Adam Schiff and the Democrats reintroduce an assault weapons ban when that is surely going to fail?
I mean, I think it's just like watching a kid try and stick a screwdriver into the same socket and expect a different result. These folks are just ideologically opposed, and trying to debate this issue is almost like trying to debate religion with a lot of folks. Your Senator Schiffs, your Lucy McBaths, your Blumenthals, your Chris Murphys. At the end of the day, the fact of the matter is, whatever you call them, ARs, semi-automatic rifles, in this country are the most popular firearm. There's estimates of, over 20 million in circulation in this country. And the idea that somehow banning these would have this magical effect on crime, the Department of Justice in 2013 under President Obama came out and said, and this is a direct quote, in a study that they put out investigating the impact that the 1994 to the 2004 assault weapons ban had on crime. They said, and I quote, "Since assault weapons are not a major contributor to U.S. gun homicide and the existing stock of guns is large, an assault weapons ban is unlikely to have an impact on gun violence. If coupled with a gun buyback and no exemptions, then it would be effective." And notice they use the term buyback, which is a very fancy, guarded way of saying confiscation.
Yeah. Yeah. And criminals don't sell their guns to the police. They don't do that anyway. No, what they used to do in my hood is they break into your house, steal your gun, and sell your gun to the buyback. It actually would increase the rate of home invasions in our area whenever the cops would have a buyback program. It's so ridiculous. Yeah, it's totally ridiculous. Well, we're talking to Knox Williams. He's the president of the American Suppressor Association. You can find them on X at AM Suppressor. Knox, what do you guys do at the American Suppressor Association?
So we represent the suppressor community. We go out and advocate at the state and the federal levels to try and ease regulations and laws surrounding firearm suppressors, which is basically a hearing protection device that affixes to your gun.
Okay. Good, good enough, and good to know that you guys are. Yeah, good. No, it's quick and to the point. Well, but this is the thing. There is a reason why there are so many organizations dedicated to defending our civil rights, especially the Second Amendment. It's constantly under duress. But I did want to explore this a little further. The idea of the Democrats continuing to push this type of legislation, even though they have no power and it's clearly a loser. But one of the things I think that they have dug so far into, they really they invested so much time and energy into is anti-gun legislation. And really, Knox, I think the whole reason to abandon handguns and go after rifles, even though handguns are the problem, is not because they're worried about violence. It's because what the goal ultimately is to eradicate the Second Amendment. And I don't think I'm being dramatic for saying that.
No, I think that you're reading the tea leaves correctly, right? And I think that they've said that openly. And look, I'm not going to say that handguns are the problem, but they are used in crime more often. I think that every law-abiding American should have the ability to own whatever type of firearm that they want to defend themselves, both in any self-defense capacity as well as from a tyrannical government. That's what our Constitution lays out for us. It's a God-given right that our founding fathers had the foresight to enumerate in writing, and that's what sets us apart from the rest of the world. That's what sets us apart from history. The Supreme Court has acknowledged it. Look at Heller, look at McDonald versus Chicago, look at the New York State Rifle Pistol Association v. Bruin. Despite all of this, the Democrats continuing to try and come after law-abiding gun owners, it's truly mind-boggling if you're looking at this in any logical sense. But you know as well as anybody that in politics, rationality does not always prevail.
Yeah, but don't they want to win? That's what's blowing my mind, Knox, is that I'm thinking okay, I get it. You don't agree with this ideology and you think you're right. But don't you want to win? You guys are so dug in to this position, they cannot pivot at all, to the point where they're reintroducing loser legislation because ostensibly, I think what's going to happen is they're going to run on it, right? They want to run on it for 2026, which again is like, hello, why are you going to keep running on these old ideas? But I think we've been talking about this new American era. And I do want to ask you, Knox, before I forget, because I'm 50 and I do lose my train of thought. What are your thoughts on the new American Pope?
That was fascinating. I didn't see that coming at all. I'm not informed enough to have much of an opinion other than, wow, that's kind of neat that it's an American. What are your thoughts?
I mean, yeah, that makes you informed enough for this show. You don't need to really be informed to have an opinion. This is radio. But I feel the same way. I'm not a Catholic and I don't really care I don't care as far as how it determines anything for my own salvation or for my relationship with the Lord, but I do care because this is an important institution and religious and political. And I never thought I would have seen it. I think, and this is the theme of tonight's show, Knox, I think it does signal the beginning We are solidly, I believe, in the American era. I believe Donald Trump when he said on inauguration night in his speech that we are going to enter a new golden age in America. I believed him. I believe him when he says that we're going to see an America that has never been stronger and never been more prosperous. And so to see something so impossible happen, the election of an American Pope, to me, it signals, regardless of what his politics are, to me, it signals this is the American era. I feel it.
Well, I agree. And I think that every American, regardless of your political ideology, should hope for that, right? You know, we want what's best for our people. We want what's best for our country. We want what's best for the world. But at the end of the day, we are Americans, and America comes first.
America does come first. Before I let you go, have you had the opportunity to see any of Biden's interviews? He's popping back up. He's popping his head out the hidey hole coming up for air. Have you seen him? What do you think about this?
I have not. I have not seen that. I'd imagine that they're pretty wild. Are any of them actually coherent?
Some. You know what? While I have you on the phone, man, let me play a clip for you, and I'm going to get you to respond to this. This is from the BBC interview. So he did The View this morning. And that was terrible. But he did his first interview was with the BBC. So you talked about America First, Knox. His first interview after leaving the Oval Office is to go to a British outlet, not an American outlet. So we'll start with that. But yeah, let's play cut 8. It's about 50 seconds. Go ahead.
What did you make of those scenes in the Oval Office? President Trump and President Zelensky?
I found it sort of beneath America, the way that took place. And the way we talk about now that, well, it's the Gulf of America. Maybe we're going to have to take back Panama. Maybe we need to acquire Greenland. Maybe Canada should be. What the hell's going on here? What president ever talks like that? That's not who we are. We're about freedom, democracy, opportunity, not about confiscation.
Knox, what the hell's going on here?
Wow. Lights are on, nobody's home. That's wild.
Yeah, it's chilling. I think it's chilling also because it really makes you think about what we've come through. Congratulations to you, Knox. We all need to be congratulating each other for surviving the last 4 years. Congratulations, not what we've come through, but also what the bullet, no pun intended, Knox, the bullet that we dodged, Yeah, I mean, we're seeing it with the Schiff reintroducing the legislation, but that's sort of their Hail Mary. Had Biden won, that was going to be our life.
Yeah. And those guys just didn't read the room, right? Like they didn't understand the mandate. And I think that it was very clear at the ballot box this past November. And, thank goodness for it. To that end, I've got one idea if you're interested in something on topic that I think would be a really neat executive order to see come out.
I would love to hear it. Lay it on me.
All right. So AR originally designated the Armalite rifle for the company that Eugene Stoner worked at when he created what is now known as the AR-15 and M16 platform. Co-opted by Josh Sugarman as an assault rifle. Mm-hmm. I think that the president should come out and say, this is the most popular rifle in America. There's tens of millions of these in circulation. I am rebranding this America's rifle.
I think that's brilliant. I actually think that's a brilliant proposal and something that Trump would actually do. He could actually do that.
We
renamed the Gulf of America. Yeah, why not? Yeah. I love it, Knox. I want everybody to tweet this to the president right now. If you have a True Social account right now, tell him to sign an executive order bringing back the language of AR. That's so great. Well, Knox, I'm going to let you go. I know it's late, and I thank you for hanging in with us tonight. Tell people where they can find you and more about what you guys do over there at American Suppressors.
Well, thanks so much. Yeah, you can find us online, AmericanSuppressorAssociation.com. Again, AmericanSuppressorAssociation.com. We're heavily involved in all things suppressor-related, state level, federal level. Changed a lot of laws. We're working on deregulating these things through the Hearing Protection Act, getting them out of the National Firearms Act so that every law-abiding citizen in this country hopefully one day will have the ability to buy these without having to pay a tax and jump through hurdles. So, Stacy, again, thank you so much for having me on. I really, truly appreciate it.
We were so happy to have you. I'm sure we'll have you back again. Thank you for all the work you're doing on behalf of our civil rights out there. And God bless you in the new golden age of America.
Amen. God bless you as well. Thank you.